Yo, what's up, exiles, and welcome back for another build guide video. My name is Shifty. We're back today for the final Starcaller guide. Did he say the final Starcaller guide? Starcaller guide? The final one? Yeah, that's what I said. The final one. Okay, the final update. That means there's some new stuff I'm putting out, and this is going to be the last one. So, the final draft, one might say. What is new, you ask? Oh, thank you for asking. I'm so glad you asked. So, one thing that's new is Runegraft. There's 2 Runegrafts that you want. You want especially Runegraft of Time. You'll see the Runegrafts up there. Yeah, right above me. Runegraft of Time gives you an extra cooldown use. Very cool. Runegraft of the Jeweler, you want to unlink your Starcaller as much as you can. Even if you get four sockets unlinked, that's 40% damage. Pretty good. What else is new, you ask? Oh, well, I got the axe. Great news, you say. Yeah, it was great news. I had a lot of fun with it, and then I fucking died. I got owned in betrayal. Look at that. If you look up there, the health bar goes to 0. I'm in hardcore. That was literally the only Starcaller in existence on hardcore. It's gone. What are we going to do? Well, we're going to make a guide. We're going to finish up the guide, and we're re-rolling. We're going again. That's neither here nor there. I really wanted to finish this up. I promised you guys that I would come out with one more guide, that there was one more to come after I got to play it. I got to play it. This is my version of the build after getting to play it. I think I've made a lot of improvements, and I'm here to share them today with you. Path of building. Let us see. So the big changes. We get Iron Grip. We drop some stuff up here. Okay. Oh, the biggest change actually I want to share is before you get your cluster set up is you come up here for disemboweling. Okay. This gets you crit capped before you get your cluster set up. I didn't know this beforehand, but you need this to get crit capped beforehand until you get your cluster. Okay, so this is an important part of your leveling setup. It's coming up here. I didn't find this out until after I got to play the build. Okay, that's very important. Another important thing is we ended up going for Iron Grip. Okay, it does scale Starfall. It's a great way to scale it. You are not going to be a strength stacker. I mean, you can if you want to, but this isn't what this is for. This is a little bit of free damage for like minimal investment. You can get like 100% increased damage for Starfall, which is really good. So it's worth pathing over here. Also, if you want extra life, you can just grab it. You can just boom. You can grab it. You can drop some other stuff. Grab a ton of extra life. You have access to all the life in the world. Okay, so you have access to a lot of damage. Late game, you can grab strength on your gear, and you can feel really good about doing it. So it's going to give you a lot of tankiness and a lot of damage. Okay, so Iron Grip is one big change. Another big change is we're getting unwavering stance. Oh my god, we get stun immune. Okay, another big change for our accuracy wheel is we're getting a crit accuracy wheel. Not that big of a change, but instead of grabbing this one over here, we grab this one over here. We just get a little tiny bit more our crit for that. Okay, big changes. We dropped Hatchet Master. We dropped Wrecking Ball. We dropped Sources. So the stuff that doesn't scale Starfall. Increased damage with axes. Increased damage with two-handers. Crit multi with axes, crit multi with two-handers, crit chance with axes, crit chance with two-handers. None of that works for Starfall. Okay, so you're not double dipping, you're not getting damage for both Cyclone and Starfall, you're only getting damage for one or the other. Another big thing that changed about the build is, like I said, I died, so I made the build tankier. Okay, so you may be like, oh, damn it, Shifty, more tank. That's the last thing I wanted. I wanted more damage. Well, lucky for you, you got both. You got a lot more tank in the form of Cloth and Chain. You get this here, this Armor and Evasion Mastery right here gives you a ton of tank, in addition to grabbing this point here as well. Okay. We did end up losing Leader of the Pack in exchange for Champion of the Cause. Not that big of a deal. We still run the same auras, no problem. Okay. Right here is optional. Okay, Marked for Death. You want to grab this for bossing. Very important, very important. When you're bossing, you want this up. Like when you're killing like Maven, you're trying to kill Eater, Exarch, whatever, you want this up. A lot of your damage hinges on whether or not you have frenzy charges. You don't have frenzy charge generation for single target, so you need this. You need this right here for single target. That's also to say that you have 4 extra points you can deal with. You can literally just spec out of something and only spec into this for when you're bossing. So you're actually at, you're actually at level 95 right now. This is pretty nice right here. Okay. Other changes. So we got Tankier, some of the stuff before you get the cluster changed. What else? Talk about stats that don't scale it. You want strength, so we also grab utmost might. This is pretty optional too. You don't have to grab this, okay? But it's a solid amount of extra strength, which does scale your Starfall for Iron Grip. When you start scaling your strength numbers up to like 500, you're definitely gonna want to grab this, okay? Because it's just a lot of nice scaling. But yeah, other than that, we're down to 1 cluster. Another big change is we drop impact. Whenever we pick up cast on crit, we swap from impact to Bane of Legends. Okay. We're also a masterful form build, but I think I covered that in my last video. A lot of extra tank, a lot of extra attack speed. Some people might argue that it's too much attack speed for the cooldown recovery rate of Starfall, and we will get to that. We're gonna spoiler alert, we're gonna talk about cooldown recovery rate and its utility late games. It's like probably one of your better ways to scale your damage later. It's like if you can get it, it's really, really good. Okay. Next point. Okay, I guess it's time to go to gems, huh? So wait, let's go back to POE. Jesus. So the biggest thing here I would say is your auras changed. So I would say that in terms of damage, I was recommending Anger beforehand, Anger and Wrath. Now I'm recommending Wrath and Hatred, as you do get the base fizz from the weapon. Okay, so Hatred doesn't do nothing. I would say that Wrath is better than Hatred, but you probably want both. So from your mercenary, you want to get one or the other, and then you run the other one. We do run Smite. I covered that in my last video. We do grab Power Charge on crit on our Cyclone setup. I talked about this in my last video, that if Starfall did a lot of damage, we would put more utility gem links like Power Charge on crit on Cyclone instead to give us more damage for Starfall. So this is your new gem links. For your 6th link, you can go either Inspiration for a tiny bit more crit, or Pulverize for a tiny bit more AoE. I'll leave that up to you. So you get your choice here for your 6th link. You can do whatever you want. I'd probably recommend Inspiration for a little bit more consistent crit. Okay. Starfall links changed as well. This is your 6th link, and these last 2 links are just to show you what you would get if you couldn't get the perfect colors on Starfall. Getting 4 blues is gonna be a bitch. Okay. Trying to get 4 blues, a red and a green is not going to be easy. So if you happen to get 1 extra red or 1 extra green, this is your links that you would go. So if you couldn't get 4 blue, if you had 3 blue and 2 red, then you'd go Volatility instead of one of your blue links. And if you got 2 green instead, then you'd go Awakened Added Cold. Okay. But the green one's like really suboptimal, I'd say, as opposed to the red link or the blue link. But blue links, obviously, this is literally like in order of your best links, essentially. Actually, I think you would swap Lightning Pen and Added Lightning. Added Lightning is your 2nd worst link. But that's, anyways, yeah, this is pretty close to in order of your best links. But other than that, I did take out some unnecessary links. I made it so that all your links will fit now. So now, once you get to the late game, you're not going to have 1 extra link by accident, as I had poor planning earlier in the first version of the build. But anyways, now all your links will perfectly fit. If you just follow the guide, you'll get perfect links in all your stuff, except for this, because this is counting 1 extra aura. So, because this is counting the aura from your mercenary. So there's that. There's your links for Starfall. There's your links for Cyclone. What else? What else? Concentrated effect on Starfall is a big FAQ question. A lot of people ask me about concentrated effect for Starfall. I would say it didn't really, I didn't see it giving much more overlap. There's probably a little bit more overlap, but you couldn't, it's not worth it for your clear speed. You really need it for your clear. And I would say it's maybe for bossing, you could try running it. But I found that I didn't want conc effect. I really wanted the extra AoE from not running it for clearing. You really need the AoE for clearing. So that's why we're not running conc effect here. We're running power charge and crit on Cyclone now. Yeah, now the CDR cooldown recovery. I think I have it in configuration. Here it is. So 47% is the magic number. You want exactly, or you want at least 47%. If you get anything less than that, it's not worth running. It does nothing if you don't get at least 47%. But the moment you get at least 47%, your cooldown or recovery time goes down to 0.099, which gives you 10 casts per second, which is just a massive damage increase over like 5 to 6 casts per second, depending on or 4 or 5 or 6 per second, which is literally half. So it literally doubles your damage by doubling the proc rate. So yeah, you need exactly 47% cooldown recovery rate to do so. To do that, it's a little bit hard. I'll show you how I recommend doing it. This is like a super, so for context, it's a super endgame thing. You don't have to, for the newer players, this isn't expected of you to get this when you first convert to switch over to cast on crit or at the very beginning of the game or anything like that. Okay, this is just aspirational stuff of how to get it in the end game. Okay, so you can get 20% from your belt and 20% on your boots. Just regular cooldown recovery boots up to 20%. And then you can get it on your jewels. So I recommend you, instead of like Crimson jewels or whatever, you run Abyss jewels instead. You can get up to 3% on them, but I recommend just running 4 of them instead of 3. So you're definitely gonna run the Stygian Vice. So to craft both of these, you're just gonna fuck around on shaper bases until you hit it. On the boots, you are gonna have to elevate the shaper mod. So the boots are gonna cost like 8 divines to craft, so they're not cheap. This is like a Giga endgame type setup, but you will eventually, you can go for the endgame setup. You can try to get Tailwind on your boots for extra speed, which is chef's kiss, mwah, you know. That'll be your end game goal, is to get the nice Giga boots. Okay, that's probably maybe even more realistic if you're not lucky, more like 10 divines for crafting the boots. Okay, not easy to do, but it'll pay off in the end. What you do for this is you'd elevate the cooldown recovery rate, and then you'd awaken an orb to that together with Tailwind. And then you would have 2 suffixes that are good. It doesn't matter what the third suffix you hit is. You're going to lock suffixes. You're going to Veiled Chaos. You're going to unveil, or you're going to block mana, and then you're going to unveil movement speed, and then you're going to craft life or something, and you're going to be done. And that's going to be your boots. Or you're going to unveil life, and you're going to craft movement speed. One or the other. So you should hit one or the other. It's like almost guaranteed, I think. So yeah, that's what you do for the boots. That's how to craft the boots verbally. I told you how to do that. Let's see. So that's your CDR breakpoint. You only do that if you can get 40%, 47%. So you're going to need at least 3 good Abyss jewels, where you can get the cooldown recovery here. You can get up to 3% on each of them. So you could technically just run 3%ers. That's 9% from just the jewels. 9% plus 40% is 49 is more than you need. Okay. But I put 4 in here. I planned on you to only get 2%ers. Okay. I planned for you to only hit 2%ers. So I put 2%ers in here. because the 3%ers are actually kind of rare to hit, especially if you want life on them too. Okay, so you don't have to hit 4 stats. You really just want life and cooldown recovery rate, I would say, on everything, on all of them, if you can. And on softcore, that'll be really easy to find. Okay. I think I talked about the brutal Restraint. Maybe I didn't. This is only here to get you Onslaught. Since we're dropping Hatchet Master, I wanted Onslaught, so this is how I'm getting it. That answers that question. The Runegrafts I went over. Yeah, this is the build. This is the build. I will very quickly, for people that didn't see the previous videos, this is the leveling setup. Okay, you're gonna level with Sunder until like level 50 or so, and then you're gonna switch to Cyclone. This is up until your first lab. When you grab Brutal Fervor, your second setup is until level 60 at your second lab, when you get Impact and Cyclone. Around when you get Impact is when you get Cyclone, and you'll also get Fortify on the tree. Okay. At level 68 is when you get your third lab, which is going to be Masterful Form. And after this point, you'll start going for some Frenzy charges. Okay, you're also getting life up here on your way up as you want to survive. Okay, you're going to go all the way up until level 88. You're going to grab all this stuff. This will go up until before either you go to Crit Cyclone. Excuse me. Until you get Crit Cyclone, or until you get the Cast on Crit setup. This is what will be what your tree looks like. Let me zoom out and get my camera out of the way for you here. This is what it would look like if you happen to go Crit Cyclone before you Cast on Crit. This is what it would look like. And then this is what it'll look like right when you switch to Cast on Crit before you get Cluster Jewels, and then this will look like at the end after you get Cluster Jewels. And all the way through, you should have a good time. I played it all the way through from beginning to end on hardcore solo self-found. Not all of it was on solo self-found. I league started on trade, but I also played on solo self-found. So I can tell you that it's viable hardcore solo self-found. There's a strong build. This is, however, not a single target build. Okay. People are picking this up expecting to be able to kill Ubers. This is a clear speed build. It's cast on crit, okay? And it's not like the strongest cast on crit build I've ever played, but it's very fun, and I would say it's very fun for mapping, okay? And it's very tanky, and that's the selling point of this. It's very tanky, crit build, attack cast on crit build. It's very unique. I will play it again. Right now, there's no more Starcallers on hardcore, so I'm playing another build. If you want to see what that build is, let me know in the comments down below. It's a different build from this. It's also a Slayer, but it has way higher single target and super bossing. It's called Zenith, Molten Strike of the Zenith. I'm pretty much just copying Dan's build. So, but if you're interested in that, I could share what I'm doing with you. It's obviously not my idea, but I can still share it. Yeah, so let me know if you're interested in that by chance. If you guys happen to be playing a Slayer build, if you didn't like Starcaller, if you didn't like it, you could always re-roll my other build if you wanted. Let me know in the comments down below if you want that build. Let me know how you like Starcaller. Sorry that this build guide came out so late. I'm a big procrastinator, but at least I'm finally putting out to you guys now. We're coming up on 20 minutes, and I really want to keep this thing short and sweet. Let's try to start the outro now. If you like the video, like, comment, subscribe. You can find me on Twitch at the same name as my YouTube. You can probably find the link to my Twitch down below as well. Yeah, when leveling, just be sure to keep your life over your accuracy over your life. Because you're leveling with precise technique, okay? Let me go back over my notes. Do I see anything else? I don't see anything else. So yeah, thank you for watching the video. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, if you liked the video, please let me know. And if you want more stuff like this, let me know. I will, at the very least, if I'm not back for the rest of this guide, I will be back playing Tarkov for the next wipe. I would probably be putting out content for Daisy, maybe, and other games as well. And I'll be back for the next POE 2 wipe. So I'll be coming up with a build for that as well. So at the very least, you'll catch me on POE 2. So enjoy Starcaller. I hope it goes well for you. I hope this build works for you. I think with all my updates, with all my, with the newest version of the build, if you just follow this, I think you'll be good. I think on the old version of the build, you might be a little bit off crit cap. So I think hopefully you find this build and you transition and you get the points that you need and you get crit capped. Right before I died, I was to the point of being like right here. I was where it says CoC initial. This is pretty much where I was. You also, when you first transition to spell suppression, you will want lucky spell suppression, okay? And for the Runegrafts, you will need 2 extra points. You can put those anywhere. Other FAQs, you don't have to link your Starcaller. You want it unlinked, in fact. Okay. Also for Leech, we end up going over here for Leech. Don't forget to get your mana Leech right here. Don't forget this 1 point right here. That's very easy to miss. Don't forget your 1 point. Yeah. Take care, Exiles. Take care. I'll catch you on the next one. Okay. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.